Hi, this is Amy Blaine. Welcome to the ExplorePeoria.com Entertainment Report.
Welcome to Peoria Riverfront Museum. I'm Kristen McKenzie, the museum's curator. We're hosting American Spirits, the Rise and Fall of Prohibition, and we hope that you will all come learn more about this intriguing, exciting period of American history. The exhibit starts with a wall of beer bottles to talk about the context in which temperance movement leading up to Prohibition began, talking about the prevalence of wine and beer drinking in American society in the early 19th century, and the women who became concerned about that. We talk about the temperance movement moving into the Prohibition movement, and actually you have an opportunity to try on a temperance sash that the women would have worn and carry one of their banners, and see how the women realized that they could join forces with people concerned about other types of issues to promote their cause. Eventually, they joined forces with a lot of churches. A lot of preachers were extolling the evils of heavy drink from the pulpit. And so we have a little section set up like a church where you can meet some of the individuals who were working around the country, including Carrie Nation, who came to Peoria, visited us, gave a lecture, visited a bar, threatened to destroy it with her hatchet, but then ended up receiving a donation for her cause, and she left it alone. This is Wayne Wheeler's amazing amendment machine, which the National Constitution Center produced to make it a little easier to understand the very complex process of making an amendment to the United States Constitution. Then you need 36 states to ratify it at the end, and Illinois was the 11th state. And once we had 36, then the amendment was ratified and became part of the United States Constitution. Late January 1920, Prohibition goes into effect. All the wineries, breweries, distilleries close. This is a tremendous period of change for American society. Consumption of alcohol goes underground. Just because breweries and distilleries had closed didn't mean that alcohol couldn't be made. There were a lot of bootleggers, and we can see here this example of a still that was set up. Some of them were more concerned about quality than others. And so unfortunately there was a fair amount of really bad, dangerous booze being made. The 18th Amendment, of course, applied only to the United States, so there was a fair amount of illicit booze being brought into the country through the Great Lakes from Canada, coming up the Gulf Coast from Mexico as well. And we do have a wonderfully fun video game to play in the exhibit where you get to be the federal agent trying to catch those rum runners as they're coming in. Another really fun thing you can do is you can join these criminals here and get your picture taken in the jail lineup. Then you get to send it to yourself or anybody else by email. The exhibit ends with the repeal of Prohibition. The 18th Amendment seemed like a good idea to some people, but obviously there were a lot of problems that evolved as it went through. The other thing that happened, we fall into the Great Depression, and there is such a great need for jobs. The federal government is suffering financially. People start to realize that if they opened the breweries and distilleries again, that would create a lot of jobs. And it would also be possible for the government to resume taxation of those products, and they would have more revenue. With the Depression, income taxes were falling, and so they were desperate for the change. Having this exhibit, The American Spirits, The Rise and Fall of Prohibition, here at the Riverfront Museum was a good opportunity for us to change the scenario in our history gallery, which we call the street. We're talking about the ways that the natural resources in this region were perfect for the development of Peoria as a community, and especially the development of the brewing and distilling industries and all of the many related industries required to support it over the years. So we're looking at local collectors to help us find the items to fill out that story. We have a lot, but I know that there's more out there in private hands. Anything that has to do with the industries that supported the brewing and distilling industries, supported the saloons, supported Prohibition era. So maybe you have a badge from a federal agent, or maybe you have any kind of a souvenir from a saloon. Maybe your grandfather worked for an ice house, worked for a printing company that printed the labels. Anything at all, I hope that you'll give us a call and you too can help bring Peoria's history alive.
Find Peoria area events and entertainment when you subscribe to the ExplorePeoria.com electronic newsletter. It's free. Sign up today at ExplorePeoria.com.
Anything you need to know, and the only site you need to go, ExplorePeoria.com.